She's been excellent. I mean, she's been an absolute revelation for me this season, and we talked to Coach Golan about her performances earlier this week, how she's so disciplined for a true freshman. That is really amazing. And against Kansas, she basically won the game on her own with 2 great goals and also a crucial goal line clearance. So Keegan Good, for me, has been Missouri's best player thus far this year.
Easily sends one long for Kylie Simmons. Missouri in the white shirts, gold shorts. Auburn in the navy on the road. Simmons tries to turn on Emmy Craven. Graduate from Alpharetta, Georgia, puts it out of play for another Mizzou throw. Neither of these teams particularly high scoring. Auburn has thrived defensively. Maddie Prohaska, the junior in goal, has been fantastic. Carrillo comes on to keep that in play for Missouri. There's Zukowski, another freshman. Kylie Simmons. And now Jaden Easley, the only senior in the starting lineup for the Tigers. Maybe a question of handball on Hayden Colson.
Some good early pressure from Missouri there. You saw Keegan Good actually picked up the loose ball on the edge of Auburn's box and kept that attack going. And that's what you've got to love about her too when she goes forward. But here's Auburn with a chance to launch their first real attack, and it's a complete giveaway. Good
can pick her head up. She has a good run from Zukowski. Here's Hannah Boughton getting her first touches. Loves to run at defenders. A little bit wasteful, kind of split the middle between Easley and Simmons.
Yeah, I think you could see what Boughton was trying to do there. She was trying to release the runner, but they weren't on the same wavelength, were they, in the end?
Prohaska 0-0. Goes back and forth with Madeline Moore. Number 0. Not many teams have a 0 and a 0-0, but the Tigers have one, or 2, I suppose, and they play right next to each other. Goalkeeper and center back. Physical header between Carrillo and Maddie Simpson. And Grace Pettit settles things down for Mizzou. Missouri coming off that 1-0 defeat in Champaign against Illinois last Thursday night. Used only 15 players in that game. 4 outfield players played the full 90 for Stephanie Golan. And of course, Bella Hollenbach did as well in goal. She's played every minute thus far between the sticks for Missouri. Auburn, on the other hand, off a 1-1 draw against Samford in Birmingham. Maddie Simpson had the only goal in that game for Auburn, her 3rd of the year, just 2 minutes after Taylor Yount had opened the scoring in the 13th minute for Samford. So at least some element of revenge for Auburn after the Bulldogs put Auburn out with a 2-0 win in the first round of the NCAA tournament last year. Not a bad ball from Boughton.
Great ball from Boughton, absolutely perfect. Dropped it right onto the edge of the 6-yard box. Just nobody on the end of it. Beautiful ball, and so far early in this game, Missouri have looked pretty dangerous going forward. Some good link-up play. Mistake though there, Nate.
And it's loose for Olivia Candolino, the junior from Jacksonville, knocked out by Rachel Catella, and Auburn has the first corner of the evening.
No sooner was I talking about how well Missouri had played, and look at this cross, just dropping that ball in right on the edge of the 6-yard box, nobody attacking the ball, and really Auburn escaped there. Great chance for Missouri, and Nate, I know you love it, but that ball right there in the corridor of uncertainty.
That's exactly right.
But all that good work nearly undone by a rare mistake from Hollenbach.
Here's Anna Haddock, her team leading 5 assists this year. And she will have another corner straight away after Kylie Simmons knocked that one out of play. Auburn winless so far on the road. 3 games away from home, all draws. Corner sent out again and comes back for Haley Whitaker, the 5th-year senior from Birmingham. Leah Selm got a piece of that and sees it out of play. Stephanie Golan was very complimentary of Leah Selm. Feels like she's been playing great.
The interesting thing about tonight's matchup, Nate, is the fact that in the past, in the last couple of seasons, Auburn have liked the 4-3-3 lineup. But this year, you've been seeing them go to a 4-4-2 lineup, and it enables them to play this diamond in midfield. And it's very hard to defend against. The diamond was all the rage back in the late 90s and early noughties, and it's come back again because Coach Hopper thinks that's the best way at the moment for her team to really hurt the opposition.
Simpson tried to poke that one through for Candolino.
And I think, Nate, that's why you're seeing Missouri line up tonight with a 4-2-3-1, which is somewhat unfamiliar for them. And Coach Golan told us when looking at the fact that Auburn might drop into this diamond formation, she thought that was the best formation to try to counter that.
It's interesting because some teams are so set in their system,
Yeah,
they'll just play
yes.
against come what may, and that has not been the philosophy for Mizzou the first couple of years under Stephanie Golan.
And I like that too, and that's really also the case with the diamond. It's very fluid. You can drop in or out of it if your players are well schooled in that system.
Good, trying to go to Simmons, who then commits the foul. Let's go and talk a little bit more about that diamond, Simon. Walk us through exactly what you're looking at.
Well, here you can see when we go back to earlier in the season here, this is the game against West Virginia for Auburn. You see Emmy Craven on the ball. Now, if we roll it, you'll see her play the ball inside to West, freeze it right there. You'll see that Haddock is at the tip of the diamond. She can also play at the base of the diamond, but they're so well schooled in this. Roll it, and then you'll see Haddock freeze it. Now she knows already she's got somebody wide on either side. She's facing that way, and you'll see her play it out that way. Roll it.
We got to come out because
yeah, the action is getting. It's hard to explain sometimes, but it is a really interesting system. And here's Haddock now, sort of at the base at the tip of the diamond, playing deeper, but it allows that fluidity during the game.
Comes through for Prohaska, and Auburn still trying to establish a little bit of possession in this game. Now, Auburn will play a bit more direct, generally speaking.
Yeah. And also the diamond allows you to do that because what happened in that particular piece of play, and I don't know if we'll get a chance to go back to it, but Haddock played it out wide, Candolino with the first time ball in, and it really set them up for an excellent chance. And that's the beauty and the fluidity of the diamond when it works well for you.
Here's Easley running at Craven. Tries to take her to the byline, giving away about a foot of height, and it's knocked out by Colson. Craven at 6'2", and Easley listed at 5'2". But a lot of the action so far has been at this end of the field for Missouri.
It's been a good start for Missouri, really. And if you think about it so far, Auburn's only real look at goal was from the corner, which was a mistake from Hollenbach.
Simpson taken down by Pettit. And the foul given by Brandon Gardner, our referee. Gives us a chance to meet our head coaches this evening, starting with Karen Hoppe at her 24th season at Auburn. Probably has some fond memories of Walton Stadium. Last time she came here, it was in 2018. Haley Whitaker was a freshman. She scored the only goal of a 1-0 Auburn win, which was Hoppe's 300th career victory as a Division I head coach.
Auburn not afraid to mix it up physically, though, Nate, for their game against Samford over the weekend. Although there was a bit of rivalry after what happened in the tournament last season, that was a pretty physical game.
Flicked on header. Sydney Richards was lurking, but shielded off by Megan Odeoye, and Bella Hollenbach out to claim it.
Yeah, and you've got Richards out there for Auburn. You've got Simpson out there, very fast. And they can really hurt you with that speed as well. But like you said, they utilize that speed in a more direct fashion, or as Coach Golan put it, vertical.
Of course, a lot more experience for Auburn, only starting the one underclassman, true freshman Hayden Colson, who has started every game for Auburn so far this year. Everybody else junior, senior, or graduate. They have a few fifth-year players. Ball over the top, looking for Candolino. The flag has stayed down, but Carrillo wins the race for Missouri.
Fantastic defending by Carrillo. It was Carrillo initially who was playing Auburn onside, and she made up an unbelievable amount of ground to get across. And when you dive in like that, you've got to be sure you're going to get the ball, and she did. Great piece of defending.
A very young Missouri team for second-year head coach Stephanie Golan. Does not have the luxury of quite as much experience as Karen Hoppe does. In fact, Hoppe has played just about the same starting lineup almost the entire season. Been very little variation as compared to what a team like Missouri has to do with younger players and sort of figuring out roles. Interesting matchup too, Simon, in that neither team is particularly committed to the ball, in the sense that neither one feels the need to have a lot of possession in order to be playing well. Missouri's had the lion's share so far, which we don't say often, especially when Mizzou is playing a top 25 opponent, but Auburn really hasn't made much of an effort to possess the ball.
Yeah, I think, and Auburn are happy to play like that, aren't they? We talked about that style they have, using the diamond, trying to get forward quickly. They're quite happy without the ball, and they're happy to counter when they can. And you're right, it's all about how Missouri does without the ball too. But yeah, they're in the somewhat unusual circumstance right now anyway, of having had a fair bit of possession so far in this game.
Auburn did have a couple of corner kicks, and now with a throw deep down in the final third from Sklopen. Not a bad ball by Simpson to at least get something into the area. Colson takes it early. Catella didn't get the best touch to it, but she recovers nicely to take it off Haddock's foot. Simmons, her hold-up play has been really good this year. And Missouri able to establish some possession.
Yeah, as you said, Nate, quite happy to hang on to the ball here when they can.
Good has Richards on her back. Sends one long in the direction of Boughton. I think she thought Easley was going to make a run. A lot of the ball in the air so far, and a clattering foul. Simpson sent to ground by Grace Pettit, and I think Brandi Gardner wants to have just an early word with Grace Pettit there to warn her.
It's what we used to call a reducer, an early reducer. I know Pettit was going for the ball. She's a very fair player, but very physical as well. And yeah, I think Simpson probably felt that, but Simpson got knocked around a little bit on in the game on Sunday as well.
I think they're going to take her off just to be careful. Karen Hoppe wants to make an early change. And the junior from Wausau, Wisconsin, takes a seat. She's replaced by Marissa Reyes. Redshirt junior from San Antonio, making her 8th appearance, only the 3rd off the bench. She's primarily been a starter for Auburn this year. Whitaker pops it up for Catella's header. Maybe the first back pass of the whole game for Auburn, and it's immediately accompanied by a long ball from Colson, really not close to anyone.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to play direct and vertical like that, that kind of ball, though, is not going to get you anywhere, is it? So far, I'd say Missouri have been the better team relatively early in this game so far, but we've not really had a clear-cut goal-scoring opportunity, have we, from either side? It's all been a bit cagey.
Haddock pops it up. Missouri center back's going to get their aerial work in. There's some numbers for the Tigers. Good turn by Boughton. Wants to switch the play. Not a bad idea towards Zukowski, but Whitaker there to cut it out. Selm tangles with Sydney Richards.
Oh,
good ball
play by
Kylie
Selm.
Simmons.
Yeah.
Cut off by Whitaker. And it's just thumped clear. Anywhere will do for Auburn. Zukowski. Freshman against 5th-year senior, and the experienced Whitaker wins the one-on-one duel.
Yeah. Missouri, though, there they had players forward, but they kind of left Zukowski on her own a little bit. They were asking an awful lot of her to get around the defender there and get the ball in. And in the end, she wasn't able to do it.
Whitaker dances past Zukowski. Still Haley Whitaker. Not a lot of help, but she finds a good run from Marissa Reyes, who knocked Odoyoye down, and that's Auburn's first foul.
Great piece of play by Whitaker, wasn't it? I mean, she's moved from midfield to the back, so she's able to play, but you can see that midfielder coming out in her there with a run that took her, fully 60 yards down the field. Really nice pass. Great piece of defending by Odoyoye there to stop the oncoming attacker there, which was Arias trying to get on the end of that. It was a pretty nice pass, too, from Whitaker. Little bit of a warning sign there for Missouri at the back. you can kind of see that there's a bit of a difference here. Missouri obviously have seen that the way to beat Auburn is to try and play through their defense, to come through. We talked about that diamond, to try and play through the diamond and to play through that back four, whereas the style we talked about before, how Auburn, they're okay without the ball. When they get it, they like to counter-attack quickly. We saw that with Whitaker as well. So you're seeing the contrast in styles here a little bit.
Mentioned it earlier, but it's been a while since these teams have played. Goes back to 2018. Auburn last visited Columbia. That was the last meeting of any kind. Auburn won at 1-0 on the goal from Haley Whitaker. That's the only goal of the game, and one of 8 in Whitaker's Auburn career. You mentioned she was in the midfield before making the move to fullback. Missouri leads the series 4-3-1. Auburn's won the last 2. Simmons, good ball over the top for Boughton. Prohaska was probably there first anyway, but Craven clears it away.
It was a good ball, wasn't it? And I thought Prohaska was going to get there, but it seemed to just sit up for a second, didn't it? Another good half chance for Missouri there. You have to think that at some point one of these half chances will turn into a full chance on goal. That looked like a foul throw to me.
Indeed it
was. At this level, that's something that'll get the ire of the coach. Jaden Easley looking a little exasperated as well. Although we've talked about it before, that with this facility, with the long jump pits on 4 corners of the field, right next to the touchline, it is difficult to get any kind of a throw in there because you don't have any space at all, even just to take one step back for a throw in. So we've seen it a few times, I think, players who ordinarily would be perfectly capable of taking a proper throw in are just a bit put off by that. Maybe, I don't know, it's home advantage. It wasn't home advantage there though, was it really, Nate?
Good to see Maddie Simpson right back in there for Auburn after she took that knock from Grace Pettit. But she's back on, and Arias back off.
And there's the sand, and you can see how close it is to the touchline there. And it's in 4 corners of the stadium, and that means even somebody just taking a regular throw in, just one step back, that's the technique. You're off the edge of the field, and it's very tricky.
Neither team really yet into a rhythm, more than 17 minutes in. Conference opener for both. Auburn thus far unbeaten, 4 wins, 4 draws from 8. Whitaker cut off by Zakowski, but I think it was Selm who would have been called for the foul. Maybe just a little pull preventing Whitaker from getting back on the ball.
Also, Nate, I know you're a big track and field guy, but can you, I've never been able to figure out why we have 4 long jump pits when most other track and field facilities have 1.
That's a good question.
I've never really figured that out here, why we have 4 of them.
It might need to be an investigation.
Well,
not ideal.
I'm not going to demand one, but I'm just going to say, I'm just pointing that out.
Selm out for Zakowski. Whitaker there first again.
It's a good play from Whitaker, wasn't it? Just to get in there first, get that foot in, interrupt Missouri's rhythm. Really smart play.
Odeyoye on the throw for Missouri, redshirt junior from Cincinnati. Started all 8 games for the Tigers this year. Here's Boughton. She will let him rip. Boughton took a deflection, and it's simple for Prohaska after the nick off of the defender from Wesh. Tomorrow, Marty and McGee and SEC Nation bring you extensive SEC game previews of the latest news from around the conference that you won't find anywhere else. This week, the guys will be in Auburn at 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 Central, followed by a 2-hour SEC Nation right up to kickoff, both here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app.
It's a nice play again for Missouri, isn't it, Nate? Really good piece of connecting play, linking passes together.
Simmons to the middle, easily denied by Prohaska. On the follow, Keegan Good, still loose, and referee Gardner has said that's the end of the sequence.
Whoa. Wow. what a save for Prohaska, showing why she's one of the best keepers in the country with that reaction save. And to be honest with you, I think that she got lucky a little bit with the referee's whistle. It looked like Good was perfectly entitled to go for that ball. We were just talking about what a nice piece of play that was. Again, Missouri linking up beautifully. Lovely little ball in here. Look at the turn in the box. Great cross. And it looked, just for a minute there, like Easley was sure to score. What a save. And then as the follow-up, Good's got it. She was perfectly entitled to go for that ball. I'm not sure why a free kick was given there. But wow, what a save by Prohaska, keeping her team in this game at this particular point. What a fantastic piece of goalkeeping that was. I mean, Easley looked odds on to score.
Great physical contest at the other end between Candolino and Catella, who were both going at top speed into each other's shoulders all the way into the penalty area. Catella definitely gave her a little shove at the end, I think more out of frustration than anything. And Brandon Gardner said the ball was gone and no penalty.
Well, Missouri can consider themselves a little bit unlucky not to be a goal up, really. And once again, not for the first time this season, right? It's Prohaska who's keeping her team in the game by keeping Missouri out.
Prohaska has kept 5 clean sheets this year. Stopped 21 of 24, now 22 of 25 shots against her, and that was one of the best of her 22 saves.
Here's what Coach Golan will be taking some encouragement from here, though, Nate, that the way she set the team up to play has really borne some fruit so far, including the best chance of the game just a few seconds ago.
Richards' ball took a deflection, and Missouri back on it with Sikowski.
And we'll see Missouri again try to link up the ball, not keep possession, and play through the lines of Auburn. Coming close to success again there, and so far it's working pretty well.
Prohaska, ice in her veins. That was unlucky for Kylie Simmons. That ball from Sikowski was really good into her path, and Simmons tried to just let it go past her, but it clipped off the back of her shoulder rather than falling into her path down the line.
And Prohaska playing like a confident goalkeeper, right? With that little turn.
Simmons so comfortable with her back to goal as well.
And you've got to love that, especially when she's leading the line. You need a player who is comfortable like that, with the ball at her feet, with her back to goal.
Selm shields it from Wesh. Catella wants it. Sikowski, a little bit of a wayward pass about. Probably didn't need to take it that early. Get a look at the numbers on Maddie Prohaska this year. Did concede in the last 2 games against UMass Lowell and Samford. She hasn't conceded 2 goals in a game since that loss on November 12th of last year in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Wow. I mean, her strength is her shot stopping, as we just saw then. If there's anything you might be able to pick at her as a weakness, maybe a high ball lofted into the box. We've not seen that from Missouri yet, and I'm wondering if they're going to test her a little bit with something like that when they get the chance. But again, Missouri playing very well between the lines, keeping possession, being patient on the edge of the box here, looking to create that opening.
And Missouri wins a corner first of the night for the home side.
So could this be a chance, possibly, for Missouri to see how Prohaska looks under that high ball with a bit of pressure on it?
Prohaska is only 5'9", a little bit undersized for an SEC goalkeeper. Although, to be honest, even though Bella Hollenbach is listed at 5'11", I think I might have to see them stand back to back to be convinced there's really 2 inches of difference between them. Interesting, Sikowski will take the corner. We've seen Hannah Boughton and, of course, Milena Fisher when she's on the field. But Sikowski gets the chance. And couldn't clear Wesh at that front post.
You've got to clear the first defender, don't you? It's one of my pet peeves, Nate, is, you know, when you're taking a corner, clear the first defender, clear the first defender. And again, like I said, I think Missouri needs to test Prohaska just to see how she looks under a high ball rather than one they're trying to whip in like that.
Sikowski again, right at the first defender again, just not quite enough height on it. Not bad looking balls otherwise, the shape of them not bad.
Yeah, it looks,
an Auburn throw.
Yeah, they're trying to whip it in at the near post there, aren't they? I wonder if we will see at some point an attempt to loft it in a bit more.
That's interesting, though, to your point, because if you have a keeper you think maybe you can take advantage of in the air, and maybe take advantage of is overstating it, but maybe the one area where she's a little closer to average rather than spectacular,
exactly.
You'd think you'd be less concerned about scoring at the near post and be more okay with a lofted corner.
Exactly.
Carrillo for Boughton, but that's knocked away by Moore. The good news for Missouri, though, is they've had, by some margin, the best chance of the game. They've also had the majority of the possession and really haven't been substantially threatened outside of a couple of Auburn corners, but neither of those even led to a half chance.
And again, it was all about the aforementioned Prohaska, wasn't it? Jaden Easley, I think, couldn't have done much more with that chance she had. She came onto it first time, got a good connection, and she was just, it was a great save. Nothing else you can say about it.
Another good crowd in Columbia this evening. I think folks are getting the feeling that even if it's still only year 2 and the transformation is relatively early in the broad scheme of things, that they like where the Stephanie Golan project is headed.
Absolutely, Nate. And this team this season, when I've watched them play, are much more compact, much more organized. They have a much better idea of how Coach Golan wants to play, and you've seen that in every single game so far. And last year, there were 2 or 3 pretty ugly blowout games for Missouri. That has not happened this year. They've been in every game, and in fact, even the game against North Carolina, who were #1 at the time and were 3 up at halftime, Missouri really came out in that second half and were the better team. Scored a lovely goal.
A little bit of a sloppy foul by Odeyoye, diving in there on Richards, and Brennan Gardner issued his second warning to a Missouri player so far in this first half. He pointed at 2 different spots, said that's enough. Haddock sends one in. Simpson went to ground. A little bit of a high boot there from Craven.
Pretty sure we're not.
Simpson on the turn, denied by Catella. Odeyoye didn't get much of it. And Pettit finally able to clear her lines.
All a bit desperate there for the first time, wasn't it, for Missouri, the defending end. Here's Whittaker again. Such a good player with the ball at her feet. Well played.
The game looks like it's going about half speed for her compared to everybody else.
Exactly. Yeah, that is a good way to put it. It really does. And I was going to say before we got to the free kick, something tells me, Nate, that this is not going to be a game where no cards are shown.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think that's one of the predictions I will make. Is I'm confident that we are going to see a card or maybe 2 before this game is over.
Neither team has shied away from the physical play so far this season.
And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So in comes Mylena Fisher now. It's going to be interesting to see what she can do, whether she's got a really cultured left foot, and whether her creativity now is going to cause a different kind of problem for Auburn than what they've been dealing with so far. I think Auburn have struggled at times when Missouri have connected balls together and played very patient possession style football on the edge of the box. We'll see what Fisher can do. She's very good at taking the ball, taking a look. She's got great vision, and we'll see if she can maybe cut through the line with some of her passing ability.
Bartles on as well for Zukowski. She's playing on that right-hand side. Fisher through the middle, replacing Bowden. The German sophomore putting together a fantastic start to her Missouri career already. Out off of Odeyoye. But we talked about Auburn's inconsistency in the scoring department. It hasn't led to tremendous inconsistency in the rankings. This is a Tigers squad that has been respected maybe since the preseason when they were left unranked. They've climbed as high as 14th and now at 23, which is maybe a little harsh to them after a win and then a draw against a very good Samford squad that was receiving votes in the top 25. But it's a good-looking team.
It is, and it gets us now to the other talking point, doesn't it, in college soccer this season, Nate? I personally don't mind it. I guess maybe it's my English roots. I'm okay. If a game ends in a tie, it means 2 teams most of the time have fought a great battle, and a tie is what they deserve. However, Coach Golan doesn't like the ties. She said it leads to complicated calculations about where her team is and what the records are. And Coach Hopper just came right out and said it, didn't she, to us today? She hates not having overtime this year. And I was surprised to hear that a little bit from the coaches, because I think a lot of times if you're playing overtime in regular season, that means if you have a number of overtime games, which, let's face it, Auburn would have had this year, your team's going to be more tired, more chance for injury, more chance for them to be banged up. So I was a little surprised to hear her say that, but she thinks maybe that's been harder on her team and the record in the end, not having overtime this season in regular play. I'm all for it, though, Nate.
The irony, though, is that not that penalties were ever a part of the regular season college game, but the other thing that comes up is ending games in penalties. Well, Auburn could have ended some games with penalties in regulation.
They could.
A couple of those draws where they missed penalties. So maybe a 6-0-2 record instead of 4-0-4, and that looks a little bit different to the folks filling out the top 25.
Yeah, it looks a lot different, doesn't it?
But it looks like a deeper and more competitive SEC this year than we've seen.
Without a doubt. I think Missouri are going to surprise some people this year. I think that them being preseason ranked one off the bottom, I think that they are going to defy that ranking. And, you know, you see Kentucky already doing that.
Odeoye gets there on Simpson's cross. Yeah, Mississippi State unbeaten.
Oh, yeah.
Alabama having a great start.
Massively competitive SEC this year, massively. And weird to see Florida ranked preseason at the bottom, isn't it, too?
And right now, the only SEC team with a losing record out of 14, the Florida Gators. Just not what we got used to seeing over the last couple of decades.
Yep.
A huge change there without Becky Burleigh the last few seasons. After her shock retirement following the COVID season.
Retired, though, and then went to coach in the NWSL.
Absolutely. Carrillo on for Easley. A little bit wild back for Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good-looking build-up for Missouri, and then Easley just a little bit heavy with the touch.
And now Kylie Simmons is going to be shown our first card of the evening. A birthday yellow card for Kylie Simmons, who turns 19 today.
Was she one of the players who'd had a talking to from the ref? Or
no, she wasn't.
Yeah, that's a little harsh, I think.
It was Pettit and Odeoye who had been warned.
There's nothing much in that at all, and I think Kylie Simmons, in the end, unfortunate that even though the talking to had gone to two of her teammates, the ref now saying, right, that's enough. That didn't look that bad to me at all. I didn't think that was a cardable offense.
Dangerous ball, back post. Auburn wanted handball on Odeoye. It was certainly up high. Could have gone either way. We'll have to get a second look at that one when we get a chance. But Whitaker poised to send it back in for Auburn. Catella gets a touch to it, and it's out for an Auburn throw. That was one of the better half chances for Auburn so far in the first half. Let's see if this struck the arm of Odeoye at the end.
We get into all the calculations about handball.
Ooh, tough to tell.
Tough to tell, and I think it looked to me, too, like Emmy Craven was sort of pulling her around from behind. It was hard to tell, wasn't it, really? But it looks like there was some interference there from Craven. So I think that was the right decision. That was a good call by the referee. I think Missouri, if that had been a penalty, Missouri could have considered themselves very hard done by.
Hayden Colson back on for Auburn. Sabrina McNeil in for the first time.
Corner kickoff.
And of course, Auburn bring up Emmy Craven for these set pieces. Her tall frame dominates all the defenders around her, and her teammates for that matter.
Hollenbach didn't get there, but a foul spotted by Brandon Gardner in the area.
Yeah, Hollenbach didn't look super comfortable under that ball, did she really? But there was an infringement there.
Sammy Brown also on for the first time for Auburn. She's 10 in Navy there. Carrillo tangles a little bit with Arias and puts it out. Keegan Good back to claim things for Mizzou. And it's another Auburn throw. See how many numbers Auburn wants to devote forward. In Inside 12.5 to play in the first half. Flag was up straight away.
Was that another
sloppy?
Was it a foul
Auburn?
throw? I didn't see what that was for, but.
What a week 3 SEC football lineup we have for you tomorrow. Game starting at noon Eastern, 11 Central. Number 9 Kentucky hosting Youngstown State. Missouri hosts Abilene Christian on SEC Network Plus. Continues on through number 18 Florida against USF. 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. Every game also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Kylie Simmons barging forward.
Just for a second
Make that Jenna Bartles, I should say.
Yeah, just for a second, Bartles had a step on the defender, and he just ran away from her. And that tends to happen on this field. This field is very firm, always very dry. Ball is very fast off the surface.
More substitutions for Missouri. Simmons good and easily go out, replaced by Larson, Mills, and Dobbs. A trio of underclassmen, including a true freshman, Jessica Larson. Larson for Dobbs on the turn. Kylie Dobbs! What a substitution by Stephanie Golan. Dobbs' first touch of the evening in the back of the net. Missouri leads 1-0.
It's all about the work that Larson did too, wasn't it? There in the box, right by the touchline, beautiful little turn, and again, another top quality ball across the 6-yard box. And yeah, what a great finish. The ones, I mean, a great turn, left foot, really great finish by Kylie Dobbs. Took it with the right foot and just swiveled, hit it with the left foot, true, firm, into the corner, no chance for Prohaska in goal for Auburn. And you know what? Missouri deserved their lead. Another beautiful piece of play, a piece of creative play, and a great finish. And the Missouri Tigers find themselves a goal up, deservedly, I think, Nate, as well.
Only the 4th goal conceded by Maddie Prohaska in nearly 8.5 games now this year. The 2nd of the season for Dobbs, who had the second half winner in the 1-0 season opening win for Missouri over Southeast Missouri State. We'll see if Mizzou could maybe make it stand up as a 1-0 game winner again, although this game feels like it has another goal or two in it.
Very much so, Nate, very much so.
Good ball from Whitaker, not a bad idea.
And as you said, I mean, that was a great piece of coaching. Coach Golan gets Dobbs into the game, and it was so nice the way she took the ball. First touch, right foot, swivels, left foot into the corner. Fantastic finish after a fantastic bit of work from Larson to create the chance in the first place. Really, really excellent play from Missouri.
And Stephanie Golan must feel like a genius.
You love that when you're a coach, when you make that kind of change and it comes off right away. Absolutely.
Dobbs on the field for all of 20 seconds or so. Let's see what the official timestamp has it. She was officially entered into the game and scored 17 seconds left.
That's brilliant, isn't it? 17 seconds, and you can see it right there. Look, Nate, no shots on goal for Auburn, 4 for Missouri, and they lead. And you think one of those other shots too, it was only a sensational save that stopped this being a 2-0 game right now.
Fisher to take the free kick for Mizzou. Simple for Prohaska.
Yeah, it was a bit of a waste in the end, wasn't it, really? The question now for Missouri is, with about 9 minutes to go in the half, do they push hard here to try and capitalize and maybe get a second goal before Auburn really have a chance to gather their thoughts, maybe switch tactics a little bit at half-time?
Moore back in front of Larson. Softly hit pass to Prohaska, who again had to handle a second ball the first half with a Missouri attacker closing in on her. Nice flick on by Arias. Here's McNeil. Has Brown running through the middle. Couldn't escape Catella and then Selm.
Really dogged defending by Missouri there, wasn't it? From Catella and then Selm combining to rob Auburn in what was a very promising position, really.
Carly Thatcher just on, number 7 in Navy. A tumble for Selm and a foul against Arias and Auburn.
Thatcher too, another player with great speed, which they really try to utilize.
On the threat for Auburn off the bench throughout her career. 8th appearance, all as a substitute this season.
Yeah, and she's coming out wide now. We talked about that diamond earlier. She's sort of playing on one of the tips of the diamond here, and that's what they like to do, get players wide and use their speed.
Remember, too, that Maddie Prohaska has not been scored upon twice in a game this year. That includes a matchup with number 2 Florida State that ended in a 1-1 draw.
That's right.
A goalless draw against number 21 West Virginia, and the 1-1 draw this past Sunday against Samford, which was receiving votes in the top 25 at the time.
But again, I think Missouri have been a little hard done by. With maybe a little bit of a lack of respect in the teams that they've played and how well they've performed in some of those games, even when they haven't necessarily won them. I realize that doesn't count in the end of the rankings, but I think we're seeing this Missouri team and what they can do right now, really giving Auburn all they can handle right now.
And there have been a couple of late goals Missouri has conceded as well that have cost them points.
That's right. Yeah.
One against Ohio State, Maddie Lowe scored in the 80th minute that cost Mizzou what would have been maybe an eyebrow-raising draw around the country against a really good and really experienced Ohio State team. And then Tigers dropped a couple of points against Omaha on the road, a 1-1 draw, a game that Missouri certainly would have liked to have won. Had a 1-0 lead to the 86th minute in that game. Nice touch by Moore. Wesh has not gotten a lot of chances. Sends it through for McNeil. Catella's after it, and she puts it out for an Auburn throw.
And certainly, though, we talked about some of those late goals Missouri have conceded. Coach Golan would, I think, give you her right hand right now to say, all right, I'll take it. I would be happy to be a goal up with 5 minutes remaining in this game. Just let me get to that point and we'll take it from there.
Larson tries to turn on Moore. Moore wins out in the end. Thatcher can pick her head up. McNeil and Arias ahead of her. And she just lost it trying to work her way past Leah Selm.
Credit Leah Selm there, though. Thatcher's extremely fast, very good with the ball at her feet. But Selm just didn't commit, didn't dive in there. And in the end, Thatcher just was going nowhere and overran it.
Wesh gets there in front of Larson. Carrillo sliding in a little bit dangerously on Sammy Brown. And back for Jenna Bartles with not a whole lot of pressure on her. Good combination between Bartles and Larson, but Bartles just kind of let it run past her.
There's been some beautiful combination play from Missouri so far this evening. And it's caused Auburn, again, a lot of difficulty trying to defend that.
Pettit gets there to keep it in play. And a Missouri throw.
It's all got a little bit untidy, hasn't it, in the last 5 minutes, but that will suit Coach Golan and Missouri down to the ground. They will definitely want to hang on to this lead to halftime.
Selm against Thatcher. Can get a cross in from here.
Great
over
cross.
Larson. Dobbs at the back post. And she's won a Missouri corner from very little at that angle.
Yeah, she didn't have much on there. It was a really great cross from Selm. Again, nobody really attacking it, but Dobbs again making something out of nothing and winning a corner for Missouri here late in this first half. And you'd have to think if Missouri could grab another here, well, the Auburn Tigers would really be against it. Here you see nice work from Selm, taking on the defender, putting the ball in, dropping it right in again there on that 6-yard box. Nobody there to attack it, but Dobbs making something out of nothing.
Fisher's corner this time doesn't forget about clearing the first defender, doesn't even clear the near post.
And you'd expect a lot better of that from a German junior international, wouldn't you really? And she's out there for the creativity that she has in both feet, and she'll be disappointed in that effort for sure. It was a chance to put Auburn under some severe pressure here late in the half, and they did not do that, and now Auburn have a chance to clear their lines.
Sydney Thibodeau on for Auburn, sophomore from Montgomery, Texas, who was a club teammate of Missouri goalkeeper Bella Hollenbach when they were in high school. Prohaska there. There's Thibodeau on the turn. Thibodeau gets a step. Thibodeau, good ball toward McNeil, but taken off her foot by Rachel Catella. Sometimes it looks like Catella might just be a half step off the pace, but she always seems to get there in time.
I just thought O'Neill was about to pull the trigger, and then in came the foot from Catella, and yeah, cleared the danger. Great piece of defending. Shows really that her timing is just excellent.
Mills switches the play for Kylie Dobbs with a lot of space. Sort of forced it to Larson. Would have been a good ball, but nobody's there for Auburn.
Waste, isn't it? Yeah.
Looked good off of her foot. Odeyoye off of Thatcher, who managed to keep it in play somehow. Referee's assistant on the near side has kept his flag down. Here comes McNeil. Past Catella, a couple of transfers going at each other, and Catella sees it out for a goal kick.
Catella's been excellent this year. She's come into this Missouri team this year. She's paired up with Pettit, and they're playing together like a couple of central defenders who've been together for years. They've just been excellent together. And again, you saw her timing, just shielding that ball, shepherding it out. And again, safety for Missouri, and they should be able to hang on to this lead now, barring an unmitigated disaster to halftime.
Missouri happy to knock the ball out of play, try to see out the final 25 seconds to the break with a 1-0 advantage. Larson tangles with Whitaker. Brown goes long for McNeil. Odeyoye didn't get much on it. McNeil has to hurry. Only 5 seconds, and Hollenbach will be there, and Missouri will indeed take a halftime lead of 1-0 into the break. Kylie Dobbs, the sophomore. Missouri leads by a goal to nil over Auburn. It took a while, Simon Rose, but Tigers eventually got their goal.
Yes, they certainly did. Auburn had a number of close escapes, and here's one of them, of course, Jaden Easley. Great save to deny it, and then finally the goal came, deserved for Missouri. Great work by Larson, lovely ball. Right foot, left foot, great finish, and Missouri deserved that 1-0 lead without a doubt.
Underway already in the second 45, and Missouri took it down to this end and has a corner inside the opening 30 seconds.
There's a statement of intent right there, straight up the field for a corner.
Dobbs starts the second half after scoring the goal. This is loose right there in the mixer. Carrillo and Pettit both in the area. Auburn gets it clear.
Again, Auburn didn't deal with that super confidently, did they? That corner this time, that's the best corner Missouri have had in the game so far. That one really testing the defense a bit because it cleared the first defender and didn't go behind. So for the first time, they actually made good use of a corner there. See it again, just not really dealing with it that well. Auburn in the end get it clear, but maybe a bit lucky it didn't drop to a white shirt. Otherwise, that would have been 2.
Auburn have yet to concede 2 goals in a game this season. They've conceded only 4 times in 8.5 games the whole year. Never more than 1. But you'd think that if they were to go 2 goals down, especially already into the second half, they'd be hard-pressed to come back, considering they haven't scored a whole lot since those 9 goals against Southern Miss. As we showed you in the open, just 7 goals for Auburn in their last 6 games.
Just looking to see if Coach Hopper's made any tactic or formation switches. I don't notice anything really too much at the moment here in the first couple of minutes.
The only thing is that Whitaker and Colson have switched sides as the fullback.
Yeah, Whitaker's come out here to the right, and I wonder if they're going to push her up more, because as we talked about earlier, really the biggest threats for Auburn in the first half, even though there weren't that many direct threats on goal, was Whitaker's running with the ball at her feet.
Easley, that's still in play. Moore's clearance went right back off Easley's right foot, but she couldn't get much on that cross, and Craven just bailed her out and gave Missouri a throw for no reason.
I wonder if Craven thought that took a deflection off her teammate. Maybe it was going out for a corner.
That could be. Out for an Auburn throw. Told you that only one team in the SEC has a losing record. That's the Florida Gators. But Auburn is one of only 4 left without a loss. Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, and Mississippi State. A big surprise in that group.
Yeah.
Certainly plenty of people saw a good Auburn season coming. I mean, we just heard from Marion Crowder and Ian Carey at halftime, who picked Auburn to win the SEC West, something they've done 7 times previously under Karen Hoppa. Only 1 SEC regular season championship for Auburn, just 1 SEC tournament championship.
They're up against it here, though. And I think they knew opening game of conference play, you're always going to be in a battle with whatever team you are facing. But Missouri really taking it to this Auburn side so far this evening.
Keegan Good. Craven there in front of Boughton. But still, you can see why Auburn would struggle to play from behind, because it's just one ball after another, thumped clear, sent long. There's been very, very little creativity from Auburn tonight.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Missouri would be happy for that all night, wouldn't they? Even though Craven got to that ball first, she just pushed it into a place where there was no teammate, nobody making the run, and just absolutely easy for Missouri to deal with.
To be fair, you could see the strengths Auburn has. That they are compact and very experienced on the back line, really providing a lot of value there. Actually, this is a bigger formational change than we thought. Auburn outside of possession is playing with Whitaker as more of a right wing.
Yeah.
Craven over at right back, Moore and Colson together in the center, and it's Carly Thatcher after the ball here who's playing as left back.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, you're right. They pushed Thatcher back much deeper than we're used to seeing her play, and Whitaker being allowed really free roam to come up this right wing when they get the ball and move forward. We'll see how it works for them.
Selm lets it rip from distance. Prohaska just got there in the end and pushes it wide for a Missouri corner.
Good effort from Leah Selm, wasn't it? It looked very hopeful taking a pop from that far out against a goalkeeper like Prohaska, but in the end Prohaska was struggling a bit. Really good hit. And that took a leap, and that was a good save in the end. That was headed for the far corner. Excellent effort from Selm. And again, Prohaska called into action to save her team.
Low corner, Carrillo got something to it. It was awkward, but forced another save from Prohaska, who's now stopped 5 or 6.
Yeah, she's been the busier keeper by far tonight, and that tells another story about tonight's game.
That's the 5th save this evening for Prohaska. Auburn has 1 shot, and it was not on target.
And there you saw Prohaska found Thatcher really well out there, but then Thatcher just gave it away. Just a long, hopeful punt forward straight to Hollenbeck. No problem at all for Missouri to deal with.
Again, the strengths for Auburn are obvious defensively. There's a lot to like. They're very composed defensively. They keep their shape. Prohaska has been quite good. You can see her shot-stopping prowess. Whitaker with some space. She's been really the only Auburn Tiger providing a lot of creativity. But Carrillo wins the one-on-one battle, and Auburn had devoted a number of shirts forward. Carrillo has Selm through the middle.
Great play from Carrillo, breaking it up, and was a little unfortunate there with the ball in field that it split her 2 teammates.
And the flag goes up against Candelino. But Simon, normally, you know, we try not to be too critical, but I have to say, considering some of the performances Auburn has had against good teams, especially against Florida State this year, been a little bit disappointing from them tonight.
Yeah, they're struggling on the road again, aren't they, Nate? Which is what we talked about at the beginning of the match. And they've got their struggles here so far. And they've tried to change things up a little bit here, as you'd expect.
Yeah, that was a timely shot from our crew, too, showing Anna Haddock. Because when a player has 23 assists in just over 2 seasons, you'd think maybe she could be a source of some creativity, but we've seen very little from her.
Yep, she's not really been in the game very much. Now that's dangerous for Missouri because players like her can suddenly pop up and hurt you at the crucial time. But here Missouri are on the attack again, and this looks like something from the training ground.
Good, wants to hit it herself and just didn't get her foot wrapped all the way around it.
Yeah. You could see what the idea was, but she's having a bit of a smile about it right now, and Missouri can afford to smile, at least at the moment, with the way this game is going for them.
I'm a little bit surprised, though, Simon, that Missouri seem insistent on doing just about everything with their corners other than popping it up into the middle, because that's been their most promising chance so far.
And as I've said, I think you've seen the strengths of Prohaska in abundance tonight, but I think if she does have a slight weakness, it is under that lofted ball, and they haven't really tried that yet. But again, you just saw Prohaska kick the ball straight out into touch without even getting close to a teammate. So Auburn is struggling a little bit here. We'll see what they can do here now. They've got a chance to set up, get some players forward and take their time and get a free kick into the box here, or at least get it forward a little bit and take some time to set this up.
You can see the last 5 minutes or so, Auburn is playing with a renewed sense of urgency.
Urgency. You can play with urgency, but you've still got to play smart, Nate. And they've been playing urgently, but with no real direction or creativity. And this will give them a chance to try and do something here. It's well defended again, though.
Keegan Good maybe could have picked her head up there and tried to pick a pass.
Yeah, exactly. I thought she probably could.
West tangles with Boughton. Just not a lot of touches for any of Auburn's central midfielders. Here's Anna Haddock, and I guess that was a shot, but just not going to threaten Hollenbach.
And Haddock there again, trying to make something happen, trying, and maybe forcing it just a little bit in the moment there. And Nate, yeah, was it a shot? Was it a cross? In the end, it was nothing. It wasn't either one, was it? And again, just a sign really that they're forcing it just a little bit, and maybe just need to take a moment to regroup.
Moore goes long, Simpson up for it. Not a bad flicked header. But Pettit able to corral it, taken off her by Candolino. She was fouled by Pettit, who then got Sydney Richards. And that is the final warning for Grace Pettit.
I think Pettit there was just waiting for the ball to drop. It wouldn't come down, would it, for her? And now here is a real chance for Auburn to create something here.
And this time it's in the attacking half of the field, so Anna Haddock will take it. 5 assists already this year. Simpson up for it. Pettit gets there first. And a harsh foul called against Simpson, who was on all fours. I don't think there was much she could have done about that.
To me, Auburn needs to be calmer and get the ball out wide more and use Whitaker more, because that straight punt ball up the middle, whether it's from a free kick or from open play, right now, Kutela and Pettit are dealing with that pretty easily. And so to me, it would behoove of Auburn to try and get the ball out wider, maybe keep it on the ground a little bit and test Missouri that way.
And a foul called against Keegan Good. The referee Brandon Gardner has not been shy on the whistle, especially so far in the second half. Not a lot in that Simpson foul, not a lot in the Good foul.
Yeah. See, Auburn again looking to drop this into the box rather than maybe play it short and try that route.
Simpson again got her chest to it.
And again dealt with relatively straightforwardly though by Missouri, right, Nate? So I'm thinking that something a little different when they get a free kick in that situation. Might stretch Missouri, move the defense one way, move the defense the other way. When they're pushing it up the middle that way, they're not moving the defense around at all.
Just pure route one from Auburn this evening, and I'm not sure it's produced a really good chance yet. Over the top, Prohaska. She's been very good with her feet as well tonight. That's not something we really talked about, but she has looked ultra confident with the ball on the ground.
Exactly right. She has looked very good with her feet, hasn't she? And that's what you need in a modern goalkeeper today. But Prohaska has been their best player tonight, and that tells you the story of the game so far, doesn't it?
I would say, yeah, she's been as good as advertised.
Yep.
Made a couple of really good stops. Bella Hollenbach has not been troubled much at all. And nothing Prohaska could have done about the goal. Dobbs ended up with a clear shot from maybe 8 yards out and buried it in the corner. But if you didn't know better, you'd think that Missouri was the unbeaten number 23 team. With the way Auburn has hurriedly cleared their lines, now a chance finally with some numbers to keep the ball on the ground a little bit, and Candolino straight offside. A frustrating night for Auburn.
I think she went offside, came back from an offside position, didn't she? That's what happened there, because she certainly wasn't offside when the ball came to her, or even when the ball was played, but I think she came back from an offside position. And for a minute there, Auburn finally had Missouri stretched a little bit with the ball on the ground, and then they wasted it. Stephanie Golan there's got to be happy with the way this game is going so far.
You see her on the edge of her seat like that. I feel like that's almost the pose of a coach who is happy so far, and it induces, you know, when you got a head coach who's feeling good, we're playing great, that just induces more anxiety.
It does.
If they're playing poorly, you can sit back because it's not going to get worse.
I mean, of all the sports in the world, to me, this is the sport where it can go pear-shaped within a minute. So, and all coaches know that, even when your team is on top and has been playing really well.
Yeah, so some ways more anxiety and played well the first hour.
Exactly. I mean, I think Coach Golan, we might see, if Missouri was able to get a second goal now, she might sit back in that chair a little bit, but she'll be on the edge of it right now.
Simpson looking for Richards. Flag had stayed down. And Pettit clears that one away from Whitaker. Gives us a chance to remind you about tomorrow night. SEC football final back for another season with Dari Noka, Chris Doering, Benjamin Watson, and Takio Spikes. Take you through the biggest stories of the day and break down all the games. 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. SEC Network and the ESPN app.
See, and there was Haddock, and she was just completely robbed of the ball there. I'm trying to see what Missouri player it was who just nipped in on Haddock there to win that challenge.
And The foul goes against Missouri. Hannah Boughton having to pick herself up.
It's been a real physical battle, hasn't it? But some of the home fans not very happy about that particular call against Boughton. Great piece of play to win the ball back.
Missouri coming forward, the team keeping the ball on the ground in these situations. Simmons against Colson, a couple true freshmen on one another. Wants to turn to that right foot to get a cross in and wins a Missouri corner, much to the chagrin of Hayden Colson.
What great work from Simmons, though. She was isolated out there in the corner, kept it down there, kept her head, kept calm, tried to take on the defender, ends up winning her team a corner and a chance for Missouri to set up here, get another good ball into the box here. Dobbs is going out to take this one, and it's her goal that's the difference at the moment, isn't it?
Auburn had the first couple corners of the night. Missouri has piled them up since. Number 7. Over Prohaska. Boughton sends it back in. Caught more in the side of the head. Selm keeps it on the ground. Still loose. Here's Dobbs. Charging in on her left.
Look at the confidence that Dobbs has got now. Really nice piece of play. Calm. Picks out her teammate there, Borton. And another corner. The last corner was beautifully done. I mean, it was Dobbs put that ball in, Nate. Much better delivery this time. And we saw Prohaska come for it, reaching, and didn't get there. And that's what we talked about earlier. If there's a slight weakness there, is that what her weakness is? I think maybe it is. And we saw her kind of come for that and didn't get there. Let's see what Dobbs does with this one.
Auburn has every player back in the penalty area. Carrillo got a piece. Pettit knocks it out to Leah Selm, who sends it high.
It's a good look for Leah Selm, wasn't it? She just got under that a little bit and snatched at the ball as it dropped to her. A little bit calmer with the finish there. If she got that on target, she certainly hit it sweetly.
We haven't seen a lot of this from Missouri this year. Generally, the technique has been good. If anything, Mizzou has been hitting shots along the ground. Yeah, she was just a little hurried into the shot, wasn't she? But probably had a split second longer than she thought to get better effort on that, get over it a bit more. And ball against Leah Selm. But here's what I like. Finally, you know, Missouri struggled with their first 3 or 4 corners of the night. Now they've got Dobbs on corner kick duty, and her last 2 deliveries have been excellent. And, of course, real trouble at the back for Auburn. Yeah, Missouri has now surpassed their season average corner kicks per game, came in top 25 in the country. Great play again, and this time it's Whitaker who's robbed by a beautiful piece of play. Carrillo has been excellent tonight for Missouri. Here's Kylie Simmons on her 19th birthday, denied by Prohaska. Great save from Prohaska. Kylie Simmons, one touch with the right, fired with the left. Really good shot. It looked for just a minute that Prohaska wasn't going to get there as it arced over her, and she got a good strong hand on it. Great piece of play there by Carrillo to set up the chance. And now a really nice ball through. Look at that, inside, nice touch, good shot. Just for a minute, it looked like it was past Prohaska. She was almost behind herself to tip it over. Another really good chance for Missouri. Yet another corner. Swung into the back post and grabbed by Prohaska. That was danger of an Olympico if she hadn't gotten her hands to it. Yeah, Prohaska that time, very good in the air. And it was a solid catch, wasn't it, under quite a bit of pressure. But once again, if it wasn't for Prohaska tonight, who's made one fantastic save, one's gone past her, and one really good save just there, Auburn could be 2 or maybe even 3 down at this particular point. And you, if they were, you wouldn't really be arguing about that as a scoreline. Tell you what, not often you would say this about a game that would end in a loss potentially as it stands for Auburn, but I think this might be a game for Prohaska to put on her NWSL highlight reel. Let's look at that again. I think Richards left the foot in there a little bit naughty that. And the free kick still goes against Missouri, but to me she left, yeah, it comes out for a throw-in. I thought the ref had given a free kick, but it looked like a foot got left in there. Arias on for Simpson, and Whitaker checks out. Yep. She's replaced by Sabrina McNeil, the grad transfer from Eastern Michigan. Nice play by Thatcher, isn't it? But again, Missouri. It's a bit of a nasty foul by Thatcher as well. Yeah. And I think the crowd reaction played a part in Thatcher getting a booking there. It possibly did, but you know, Thatcher there had done really well, but then frustration, I think, getting the better of her after that ball had gone.
just one or two signs now of the Auburn players getting a little bit frustrated as well, Nate, leaving a foot in here and there. You saw it there, bit of a push. It wasn't that bad, was it, in the end? But certainly born out of frustration. Having said that, after all this and the great performance so far by Missouri, it's still only a 1-goal lead. So Auburn very much still in this game, especially with some of the players that they've got and the experience that they've got.
And a foul goes against Missouri again. Clock is stopped by Brandon Gardner because Carrillo had knocked that ball long after he had blown his whistle, and he warns her that the next time that happens, it'll be a yellow.
I think Grace Pettit feeling a little hard done by there. Looked like a 50-50 challenge to me up here in the booth, but nonetheless another chance for Auburn to get the ball in the box here.
Went over Haddock and over McNeil. She's after it with Hollenbach, who gets there first. Bella Hollenbach, when she was a couple strides from her goal, might have regretted that decision, but she got there.
Yeah, once you go, you've got to go right as a goalkeeper. There's no deciding, oh, I'm 2 steps out and I've made a mistake and going back. You've got to commit at that point, and she did. And it worked out for her in the end.
Thatcher. Richards. That's a good-looking run and a great ball.
That was much better from Auburn, wasn't it? More what we come to expect from them going forward. But again, Missouri defend very well.
Hollenbach was slow to commit to that one, but Grace Pettit did well to shield off Arias, and that bought Bella Hollenbach the extra second or two she needed.
But there we just saw the two contrasts in the way Auburn, to me anyway, should be playing here in that last 60 seconds. We saw them with some nice link-up play, a little bit unlucky in the end. Missouri defended it well, but then it comes back to them, and it was just the punt down the middle of the field again, which in the end Missouri were able to deal with relatively comfortably.
McNeil puts it out for a Missouri throw. And substitutions coming for the home side. Elena Zakowski, who started, is coming back on for Kylie Dobbs, who came off the bench in the first half, but after her goal earned the start of the second. And Elena Fisher on for Hannah Boughton, who has mostly been contained so far this evening. Knocked out by Thatcher. Mizzou throw. Candolino drops it for Richards, knocked down by Zakowski in a foul. The 11th Missouri has been whistled for in now close to 70 minutes. Selm sends it out for an Auburn throw. Two of the top teams in the SEC square off in our Wednesday night volleyball matchup this week. Mississippi State hosts Georgia in Starkville at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Foul goes against Auburn, and Missouri will have a free kick. Talked about it a little bit in the latter stages of the first half as well, Simon, but this game has just become fragmented at points, and not a whole lot of continuous action, not a lot of flow, and that will suit Missouri just fine.
Absolutely right. That suits Missouri fine. They're quite happy for the play to be broken up, break up play whenever they can.
Fisher loses out to Wesh, but gets knocked down.
Yeah.
By the late arriving McNeil.
Now here's a chance for Fisher to show us what she can do. Excellent. She's got excellent delivery. Can she find that here now? Get a ball in that the Missouri players can attack. Petted up from the back.
Simmons up for it. Prohaska punches it clear. Keegan good. Sydney Richards is down in the penalty area for Auburn, and Brandon Gardner stops play for a potential head injury. Waving the Auburn medical staff on the field. Richards has stayed down.
She got wiped out by her own goalkeeper, didn't she? Sure, it was a head injury, right? But that'll be frustrating for Missouri because they were just setting up and looking pretty good as the ball came out wide. We'll take a little look. Yeah, she got cleaned out by her own goalkeeper. That's exactly what happened. So frustrating, certainly for Missouri, and it wasn't. Although you could see why the referee thought it might be a head injury. Now this possession, this drop ball should go right to Missouri. The referee telling him so. But this gives, it's frustrating for your attacking team though, isn't it now? Because Auburn have had a chance to set up defensively here when Missouri were on the attack in open play.
Simmons charging on with her left foot. Prohaska sort of uncertain for a moment there. That ball had a lot of spin on it, bouncing in her 6-yard box, but she handled it cleanly.
Fisher's top spin on it, wasn't it? But
Simmons steps in front of Colson. Wesh gets there. A lot of experience for Auburn in this team, and it's going to be tested, especially up the spine. Anna Haddock has started all 47 games of her career, counting tonight. Hannah Wesh is making her 44th in a row. All but the first 3 games of her campaign. Those two have been out there in the middle for Auburn an awful lot. And they need some more creativity from that midfield.
That's the key, isn't it, Nate? Now, we talked about the experience that Auburn has here. Last 20 minutes, we talked about the fact that Missouri, compared to them, obviously inexperienced. And we also mentioned a couple of those late goals that Missouri have conceded that have really cost them this year. Does that start to play into their minds when they're still just defending a 1-goal lead here as we get into under 20 minutes to go here? It's going to be really interesting to see how this next 20 minutes plays out for sure.
Number 20, Aaron Houston, on for number 7, Carly Thatcher.
Colson under some duress.
Number 16, Jessica
Manages just to get it clear. We talked a lot about, and moments ago, about the experience for Auburn. Hayden Colson, a true freshman who's worked her way into this team. She started all 9 games this year. Just turned 18 years old at the beginning of this month. Wow. Not many players starting every match as true freshmen in the SEC, let alone 17-year-olds. The learning curve is awfully steep, but she proved herself in the preseason and has been in the 11 for Auburn every game. Jessica Larson has Bartles going past her.
Nice patient play from Missouri here. It's a good build-up.
Little deflection on the ball toward Fisher. Craven gets there in front of Fisher and clears it for a Missouri throw.
That was dangerous for Missouri, though. It was an excellent build-up. Fisher desperately trying to get on the end of that ball in the box there, but well defended by Auburn. But again, Auburn having to do the defending here.
Saw Kylie Simmons, another youngster, going from 18 to 19 today, and she celebrated with a yellow card and one good chance. She did put a very strong shot on goal just under the bar. Prohaska pushed it over.
I think you can see Karen Hopper now up on off the bench. Pretty concerned, I think, about the way her team has played so far. And a lot of it now is sort of hit and hope stuff like this, which Missouri have dealt with very easily so far this evening. And to me, there's plenty of time left for Auburn to get it back on the floor, knock it around a bit. Here's a chance.
Arias against Pettit. Arias for Anna Haddock. And it was promising, still there for Aaron Houston, the true freshman from Kennesaw, Georgia, just getting her first minutes of the evening. You thought for a moment that scuff shot might turn into a perfect back post ball for Houston, but it didn't.
Was that deflected? I'm not sure it was, but the referee's given a corner.
Although I think it's fortunate for Missouri that he said it was, because otherwise Keegan Good might have been on the hook for a penalty there. She was a little bit late.
Just a little bit.
McNeil to take the corner.
It's a good one.
Auburn has runners. Hollenbach gets a piece. Bartles to Thibodeau. Sydney Thibodeau off the bar. Sydney Thibodeau just rattled the bar. She was inches from scoring on her former club teammate, Bella Hollenbach.
For the first time, Auburn getting in a quality delivery from the corner. It caused a bit of panic again for the first time in Missouri's defense. They didn't deal with it at all well. And Thibodeau, so unlucky. Fantastic shot, rattling the crossbar. In fact, I think the goal is still shaking.
McNeil again. Not a convincing header from Catella, but it finds Leah Selm, who boots it clear.
And for the first time tonight, Missouri really dodging one right there, Nate, and that's a bit of a wake-up call, as if they needed one.
Craven, a tug of the shirt by Oduyoye. Flag stays down. Haddock serves it in. Header from on target.
It's a good
Right
header,
at
wasn't
the penalty
it?
spot, but just high and wide off the forehead of Maddie Simpson.
Yeah, good effort from Simpson. She had to generate all the power. She was underneath the ball. Here's the shot from Thibodeau. Nice move inside, and I think Hollenbach gets a touch on that, Nate, and that makes the difference. If we can maybe get another look on the volley. There's the header. Yeah, it was wide again.
Yeah, it did look at that first angle like Hollenbach just got a piece of it up into the bar.
I think Hollenbach got a touch on that, and I think that was the difference, Nate, between it just creeping under the bar and it coming out.
And that did go in the book as a save for Bella Hollenbach.
Wow.
So, the official score agreed with you.
Great piece of goalkeeping there. Great camera angle there too, wasn't it, for us to be able to see that.
How about that for your first save of the night?
Not too shabby.
Standing in her own box for almost 75 minutes with very little to do.
Here we're getting a look at it. Oh, from behind the goal. There's the shot. And now, yep, it just gets the fingers up there, and it is enough to get it onto the bar rather than kissing the underneath of the crossbar. Nice work from Keegan Good there, wasn't that?
What a moment for those
Beautiful.
two, huh? With their history
Absolutely.
playing together.
Yep.
Unlucky for Thibodeau. Had that been anywhere but right at Hollenbach, she would have struggled to get to it.
Yeah, and she made space for herself beautifully, didn't she, by pulling the ball down and inside and just got a beautiful clean hit on it, cannoning off the crossbar.
Some signs of life for Auburn. Simpson's after this one. Carrillo safely puts it out of play. You can tell Missouri's backline under some substantial duress. Those same four have played the entire game for Mizzou to this point, and they are taking very few chances now, just putting balls out of play, clearing them long.
Yeah, they've been holding firm so far, but that's the first time Auburn have really, truly threatened and caused a bit of panic at the back for Missouri. But Missouri hang on to the lead nonetheless.
Changes in store here for Auburn. LJ Knox is on at right back for Auburn. Carly Thatcher returns as well. And so too does Hayden Colson.
You get the sense here that Auburn are just possibly sensing that this Mizzou defense and Mizzou team are tiring a little bit. Certainly the last, 3 or 4 minutes, the players all been in Missouri's half. Auburn just trying to turn the screw a little bit here. But can they do it in a smart way is the question. And if they can, that will probably get them an equalizing goal.
Thibodeau turns away from Zukowski. Simpson, good little drop of the shoulder on Pettit. Got past Carrillo, but not the second challenge from Pettit, who put that off Thatcher, and out for a Missouri throw.
Excellent defending from Pettit, wasn't it? She looked second favorite to that all the time and still won it and won the throw-in.
Boughton against Wesh, loses out. Haddock. Not a bad idea for Richards, but a looping run didn't get there. Odeoye took the direct route. Nicked back by Haddock, who's fouled by Boughton, but doesn't get the whistle. Wow, Hannah Boughton was very late there. That looked from our angle anyway, unless there was no contact. The referee was much closer, but from our angle, that looked like a clear foul.
Probably played the advantage, though. It looked like, let's see here. She comes across. That was contact. Missouri here now with a chance just to relieve a bit of pressure. They've been under the cosh here the last few minutes.
Physical game, you would think it's taken a lot out of both sets of players. Auburn has gone a little bit deeper into the bench at times than Missouri. In particular, that Mizzou backline, you would think, has some heavy legs.
You would think so, wouldn't you? But they're still hanging in there.
Stephanie Golan has praised the improved fitness of this team, having a full offseason with them, and the work of her players, especially some of the younger ones, the dedication that they've shown. It's going to be tested over the final 11 minutes tonight.
Absolutely it is.
Zakowski, Moore gets there first. Did well. Auburn is showing the ability to keep the ball on the ground, playing out from the back for some reason.
Right here,
they were unwilling to do it for the first 70 minutes, 75 minutes tonight. And then even at the end of that, it ultimately becomes Route 1.
It's good work for Missouri to retain possession right on the touchline there, and they do. That was really good play.
Larson tries to turn on Craven, who's been very good tonight.
Yep.
And a foul called against Jessica Larson. Craven in her 50th career start this evening. Played every minute of 15 games last season before an injury in the first half of the SEC semifinal loss against Arkansas. The humbling game for Auburn last year, 5-1 defeat, led into the 2-0 loss at home to Samford in the first round of the NCAA tournament. So certainly last season ended with sour taste in the mouths of the Tigers. Thatcher and Carrillo, Pettit arrives and keeps it in play.
Well dealt with. You see Thatcher likes to hug the touchline, but she was well defended there by Missouri.
Selm has the long ball here for Bartles.
Really great ball. Superb pass.
Jenna Bartles herself over the bar.
And there's Missouri able to strike back on the counter-attack now as Auburn push forward in search of the equalizer. And not far off at all there, Bartels with the shot. Great ball though, wasn't it? Bartels in stride, just leaning back slightly. But it wasn't far over in the end.
You would think another sign that Stephanie Golan will love, that her team, even threatening to finish out in the final 10 minutes here, an upset of number 23 Auburn, and under the cosh, as you said, Simon, for the last 10 minutes or so, still were picking their heads up rather than just bashing the ball clear.
Exactly right.
Straight down the middle again. Hollenbach a little late to come out. You don't love seeing her reach down to catch it, but she gets there nonetheless.
Yeah, the key thing is she caught it right, Nate. When she came late there, I thought, oh, this is going to bounce and there's going to be real trouble here, but she was able to catch it. Good goalkeeping again. And again, a chance for Missouri to relieve the pressure just for a few seconds.
Boughton and Wesh tangle again. That's been a fun contest.
It has been, hasn't it? And Boughton coming out on top that time, importantly for her team.
Cravens again. She can get those long legs moving. Has a lot of speed and athleticism in her 6'2" frame, but she lost that one out over the far touchline. And this allows Missouri the opportunity to substitute. With Easley, Simmons, and Dobbs coming back on, Bartles, Larson, and Zakowski sit down.
Dobbs back into the game here, and I like that here as late in the game because I think what Missouri will look to do when they do get the ball back here, try to release Dobbs, and she's a real threat on the break. And as we've already seen tonight, she's a real threat in front of goal. Maybe she is the source of a counter-attack goal, which, if it were to stay like this, goalless on Auburn's side, would be the difference and probably the game winner. So that's what I would be looking to do, is to try and relieve the pressure via Dobbs going forward when Missouri have a chance to counter-attack.
Good on the turn, picks her head up for Dobbs. That's going to run away from her. You would think there's a doubt or two in the back of Missouri minds, considering those late goals the Tigers have conceded this year that we talked about. One against Ohio State that cost Mizzou a draw, and one against Omaha that cost Mizzou a victory on the road.
Unavoidable that one or two of the players will be thinking about that. They've got some defending to do here. Good work from Cutella, though, wasn't it? To stay around the ball, not let the Auburn player get on her wrong side. Really good play. She's been so good since coming in this season, as we talked about earlier.
There are those late goals.
Yeah.
Auburn has left it late tonight. 6.5 to play for the visitors. Staring at their first defeat of the season in 9 games. Cutella gets in on Candolino, and it's another Auburn throw.
Yeah, now Auburn pushing players forward. Whittaker now all the way up. Committing players forward. We're getting close to, the last 5 minutes. That's a good ball, isn't it? Well defended again.
Cutella trying to play out, and Simpson was right on her, but it's a Missouri goal kick.
Very dangerous ball in, but again, Missouri deal with it. And a chance again to run down the clock a little bit here. Bella Hollenbach, I see, has perfected the jog that is as slow as a walk. It makes you look like you're hurrying up, but you're actually just...
For a freshman, she does seem to have an idea of how to bleed an extra few seconds.
That's the way to do it. It's game management. It used to be called wasting time in my day, Nate. Now it's game management. I like that term a lot better.
Richards tries to turn. Missouri content to send it long. Craven with Simmons right up her back, and a foul on Kylie Simmons. Certainly got her money's worth on that one.
I'm not really sure there was too much in that looking at the replay, are you?
You're right. On the
there wasn't much in that at all.
I thought there was a real collision. In the end, it was more like Craven got her foot stuck in the ground a bit. Thankfully, she's okay. That's a good way to pick up a knee injury.
Yeah. And this is where Missouri 2 can kill the game a little bit. Adouye doing a good job, look, just walking, no hurry to take the throw in here.
Selm, well nicked from her by Haddock.
Can't give it away there, though.
Whittaker, past Carrillo for a moment. If that was supposed to be a cross, she just didn't get her foot around it right.
Beautiful piece of play for Whittaker, though, to make herself the space, wasn't it? Went to go inside, then just let the ball come outside onto her right foot. And again, Nate, I'm like you. I'm not quite sure if it was a shot. I think it probably was. But in the end, it was neither a cross nor a shot. And Missouri now here, getting into, 87 minutes, still holding on to this lead. A lead that they are still good value for.
Simmons with more after her. Simmons to the corner
Smart
flag.
play from Simmons, right to the corner, wins the throw-in.
A whole bunch of Missouri freshmen out there trying to show their maturity and seeing this one out. Kylie Simmons making friends with the corner flag. That one looked like it was off of her, but Brandon Gardner says no, and there are no Auburn complaints.
Great play. Great play from Simmons here, trying to kill the game off here in the corner.
Well done by Whittaker to scrape that out, and Thibodeau is fouled by some combination of Selm and Boughton.
And it's getting desperation time now, isn't it, for Auburn? They've tried and tried, they've knocked on the door, but the door hasn't opened yet, and now it's really getting late in the game. They've got to get the ball forward here and do it quickly.
This would be the latest goal Missouri has conceded this year, and that's saying something. Thibodeau gets there, has Richards ahead, scoops it over for her. Richards is going to get there first ahead of Easley. Good looking ball, nobody's there.
It's a great ball from Richards, and nobody attacked it.
Whittaker couldn't get enough on it, and Dobbs can turn with a lot of space.
A lot of space in front of her here, yeah. It's a good ball too, and now you can absolutely bet that Simmons is going to head for the corner here.
Kylie Simmons, just remarkable maturity for a true freshman.
This is good play by Missouri. With the exception of that break that Auburn just had, they've probably killed, what, a good 2 or 3 minutes down here in the corner.
There's Bowden. The plan is find Kylie Simmons. Ooh. That's a throw given to Auburn. Looked like maybe Moore had her foot on the ball just in between Simmons' ankles. And Simmons just immediately heads the throw out.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep Auburn down here is what Missouri want to do, absolutely. And Whittaker put a bit of space there. That was smart play from her too, wasn't it? She just put a couple of yards and well played again. And Missouri will be quite happy with the ball down here for the next 90 seconds if they can keep it down there for anything close to that long.
Selm turns away.
Auburn cannot give it away that cheaply with this little time left.
Simmons again.
And look at Missouri now. They've got 4 players down in this corner.
Final 75 seconds. Auburn cannot get it out of the corner. Dobbs and Whittaker tangle, and Whittaker called for the foul.
Excellent, smart heads-up play from Missouri here as they try to kill the game off.
And Dobbs takes it quickly to allow Simmons back toward the corner. In there with Wesh, and it's an Auburn throw. This is all younger players from Missouri. Sophomore Dobbs, freshman Simmons and Bowden.
And the ball again is down in this corner, and we're under a minute. The clock is ticking down. Finally, Auburn get it out of that corner. Pettit's been immense. There she is again. And this is going to be the last chance saloon for Auburn. They've got a free kick. The goalkeeper's going to come up and hoof this down the field, and this is where Missouri have to concentrate here. 30 seconds. They're on the verge of a big upset. They know it, but they've got to keep their heads in the game for this last few seconds.
Simpson flicks it on. Pettit didn't get that right. Neither did Catella. Carrillo has to save a corner. She keeps it in play. Auburn had stopped thinking this was going to be a corner, and Missouri might well see out the rest of the game right here. Thibodeau and Carrillo come together. Selm sends it long, and Missouri knocks off previously unbeaten and 23rd ranked Auburn by a goal to nil. Kylie Dobbs' first half goal in the 34th minute stands up, and Missouri is 1-0 in the SEC.
It's a huge win for the Missouri Tigers, and they thoroughly deserved it on the night. They were the better team going forward. The great chance they had, they took it. They forced Prohaska into a couple of fantastic saves. Otherwise, it could have been even worse for Auburn. And the way they managed the last 5 minutes spoke more of a team with way more experience than this Missouri side. And Stephanie Golan has to be so happy with this result tonight. A great win for her Missouri Tigers.
Biggest win of the season for Mizzou thus far. One of the best performances under Stephanie Golan in a year and a half. Stay with us. We'll talk to Kylie Dobbs, the goal scorer.